Hi guys, I'm Kerri Ciesla, and I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about bridging the new year. Do you guys know what that even really means? Nobody does. Okay, so you are going to want to get some shows on your calendar for January before January actually hits. I will never forget, my director, Nancy Jo, we were at a meeting before Christmas a few years ago, and she asked us to raise our hands how many people had their January booked. And most of the room did, and me and another girl, we didn't raise our hands. And she's like, well, don't you guys have shows on your calendar for January? And we were like, no, we're just going to wait till January happens and then, book some shows then. No problem. And she's like, you let me know how that works out. And honestly, it didn't work so well because the first half of the month gets shot. Because by the time New Year's rolls around and you really get back into, working your business, your shows are going to end up more towards the end of January, which is fine, but you've missed like the first 2 weeks of the month. And Pampered Chef has some great specials in the beginning of January. I believe it's through the 10th this year. So you're going to want to make sure you want to start booking January, but you don't want to book it until you're happy with your November and your December. So keep that in mind. But by the time, I would say December 15th rolls around, maybe right in that middle of December, you're going to want to do a booking blitz for yourself if your team's not offering one. And I know I'm going to do one with my team, so get ready, girls. But you're going to want to do a booking blitz so that you can get some January shows on your calendar if you don't have them yet. Because like I said, you don't want to wait until, the second week of January to start thinking about January. So I didn't bring this, but in Consultant's Corner, I found the other day there's a November plan of action that tells you, I don't know if any of you guys have even seen that, but
I have it.
You do? Okay, I printed it, but I think I left it at home. It tells you, and you can find it under training resources, and it's like, it says holiday planning or holiday plans or something. And it says, right now it says November plan, and it tells you like everything you should be doing each day of November. So if you're kind of like, gosh, I don't know what I should be doing with my business, just follow the plan. I mean, Pampered Chef is telling us what we can do each day of the month. I'm guessing and thinking they'll probably come up with something for December too and January. Yep, that's it. Thanks. So, it'll tell you exactly what you should be doing the 1st through the 15th of the month, what's Thanksgiving shipping deadline. So we can pass this around, but make sure you guys kind of take a look at that. There's all kinds of resources out there for you. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. So just look at what they're telling us to do and do some of those things, and it'll help your business. And like I said, I'm thinking they'll probably do a December one too. I don't know. But they usually put host letters out on the website too. I didn't see them yet. But those are for your, are they up there? Yeah. Maybe I just didn't find them. But they're for your January hosts. So in December, you can send, it tells you exactly when to send them, and you send them to your hosts in January to kind of keep their party fresh on their minds. Usually they have a recipe, but it'll just kind of keep reminding your hosts that they're having that party in January, so when their party comes around, they're not like, oh, I forgot all about my party because of the holidays. It kind of keeps it fresh in their minds. So definitely take advantage of those. The other thing I was going to mention just as far as, I know everybody kind of works their business through middle of December and then takes a deep breath and thinks I have 2 weeks off because, Christmas is coming and you've already put out all your orders for the holidays. But don't just sit back and not do anything for those 2 weeks. That's a really great time to clean your office. Do some deep cleaning in your office, so get rid of all the clutter, so that when you're ready to start your business again in January, you can actually get started and you're not sitting around looking at, all the things you need to clean or, who you need to call. You have all that stuff right in front of you. And the other recommendation I would have is if you have some tools that you just use for your business. I know myself, I've been doing this for 10 years, so I've got stuff in my own kitchen, stuff that I just bring to shows. Give it a nice deep cleaning. Throw it in the dishwasher, deep clean your tools, throw some bleach on your cutting board so everything looks brand new. So when you start the new year, you're excited to get started, your stuff looks good. So just kind of give everything like a fresh start so that when you're starting January 1st, you can jump right in. So that's all I have for bridging the new year. And Nicole's going to talk a little bit about recruiting right now and like at this point in the year.
Is this a new video or same one?
I'm Same one.
Okay. All right. So I have been using this idea with my recruiting since September, and I just really love it, and I've been sharing it with my team, so I wanted to come tonight and show you guys. So make sure that you are always offering the opportunity of Pampered Chef to every single person at your party. Don't judge them at all. Ask every single person. Just walk in as you are a recruiter. Tina and I are part of LEAD, so we've kind of had some good information. And we learned that you need to walk in as a recruiter, because at every single show there's a recruit. But if you're not there recruiting, they're not going to come to you. So walk in as you are a recruiter. And you need to introduce yourself that I'm Nicole. My name is Nicole. Sorry, I forgot to introduce myself. So I'm Nicole from Pampered Chef, and I am a consultant and a recruiter. And if they hear you say that and they need a job, they're gonna think about that for the rest of the night. So kind of keep that in mind. Make sure that you are asking every single host before you do their show. So just say, hey, have you ever thought about doing something like this? And then share the opportunity with them. And then when you get to their house, mention it again before their guests get there, before they get embarrassed to say yes or say no. And then sometimes if they say maybe during the show, I'll be like, hey, look how much fun this is. You could totally be doing this. Your friends love Pampered Chef. Then they kind of oh, you're right. And then before you leave, ask again. And I've had someone say to me, wow, you're really persistent. No wonder you have a team. And I'm like, well, it's working. And it wasn't a bad thing. She was like, I did sales before. She's like, this is good that you're always asking and asking again. So ask when you get there, mention it during the show, and then before you leave that night, ask again. And then make sure that you are giving your host the starter or the kit credit coupon. You can put this in their host folder. You can bring it to the show as a reminder. Make sure that they have this. This is a sheet. There's 3 on here. So then they can put it on their fridge. Maybe you even want to put it on their fridge. Just so it's there and they see it and they're reminded of it. And then when you close their show, ask again. Because you never know if they, like I said, if they were too embarrassed to say yes, or maybe they just didn't know that night, or they thought about it. And then I started sharing, which I'm sure many of us do, sharing how much they would make that night. So before I leave, I say, okay, you would have made this much. And this weekend I had a $1,200 show, and there was only 4 people there, and I said, you would have just made $300-something. And she's like, oh my gosh, you were here for 2.5 hours. I'm like, yeah. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Okay, so then you ask, when you're closing the show, make sure you're definitely doing that, and just say, if it's not something you want to do now, if you think of somebody that might want to join the business, or you think they're looking for a job, send them my way. I did that over a phone call with a host before. I was like, hey, are you interested in this? And she's like, no, I am so busy. I'm like, okay, well, if you ever think of somebody, just send them my way. So she went home, and she went to work the next day, and she told somebody at her work. That girl went to my show, and she signed up at the show. Now, if I never said that to the host, would the host have really thought about that? Probably not. So she signed up at the show, which was really cool. My first sign up at a show, so I was really excited about that. Okay, so then when you are at your show, like I said, you're walking in as a recruiter. You guys all are in this probably for the money, so think about that when you're at your shows. People are looking for extra money for the holidays. If they start now, they do a show a week. That's at least an extra $100 before Christmas. They can totally pay for Christmas in cash, which would be amazing for many people. So at your show, start playing this recipe card game. You can buy these recipe cards on supply. I think they're under $3 or something.
Inexpensive.
You get a set of 25 or 30. So after you do your recipe and you're doing your closing, finish off your story, tell them why you continue the business, and then say, okay, we're going to play a game, and you guys can ask me 8 questions. I have 8 recipe cards. You can ask me any 8 questions about my business, and if you have a small group and there's 4 people that end up at the show, then maybe take out a couple just so there's not so much pressure, because then it's kind of gets a little awkward sometimes. But so you have 8 recipe cards. You're going to ask me 8 questions about my business. And then I say, maybe you want to know how much money I make, or questions about the starter kit, whatever you have, whatever you're thinking, ask me. And if you're not interested in the business, what questions do you think you would have if you were interested in the business? Because not everyone's there, and they all don't want to sell Pampered Chef, but what questions do you have? Or what questions do you think you might have? So then they start asking me, and then I say there's 3 cards that have a sticker on them. And if you get a card with a sticker, I'm going to give you a free gift. And my free gift is usually like toaster tongs or a citrus peeler or a Season's Best, like something super, super cheap. Or one show I did, like each person got a Twix-It clip, like super cheap. So then they get a free gift, and then they get the recipe card with my information that's on the back. This really is awesome because people are asking like money questions, how many shows you do you have to sell every month? Like these are questions that maybe I didn't maybe I didn't mention these answers already, so these answers are coming out and they're thinking, oh my gosh, you don't have to submit a sale every single month, because a lot of businesses you do have to. So then they're like, oh, that's pretty cool. So they're coming up with a lot of questions, and they're learning a lot without me even like spitting it out myself, like giving a speech of it or whatever. Very casual. So this helped me recruit a girl last month, and she wasn't even going to come to that show. And she had a headache, and she learned about the business and was like, I need to do that. So it's pretty cool. And then when you're talking about the business, make sure you're handing out one of these to each person. These are also a couple dollars, but definitely worth a couple dollars for your business. It can definitely help grow your team. And there's a lot of great information on the back. So when they're asking how much is the kit, then you just start passing these out, and then they can see what's in the kit, they can see the money, how much money they would make, and everything's right on here. And this recipe card idea was from Tennille. So if she's on here, this was your idea. Thank you very much.
Yay, Tennille.
Yeah. Let's see. And then, like I said, people are looking for money for the holidays. So maybe they're not going to do it long term. Nancy Jo started for extra money, right, for the Christmas. And now look where she is.
Yeah.
So you never know what those people are coming into your show, what their history is, what they're doing tomorrow. Like, you just never know. So make sure you're asking every single host and every single person at your show. Also, so these people are going to be asking you questions, and then when you do their checkout, don't say, are you interested in the business? Say, what other questions do you have about Pampered Chef? And they may say nothing, or they may say, oh, yeah, I really thought the starter kit was awesome. Like, how, would that give me enough, like, is that going to help my business? Or whatever they're going to say. So just say, what other questions do you have? Not, are you interested in the business? Make sure you're asking open-ended questions and not yes or no questions, because that's not going to expand the conversation. So.
Excellent.
Yeah, so make sure you guys pick up some recipe cards.
That's a great idea. I love that one. Love it.
That's it.
That's it. Okay. We'll be back, people.